Elaine, take a deep breath. And receive ye the peace. Ooh, did you feel that, Elaine?
Yes, I did.
I did too. Take another deep breath and receive the peace.
Oh, your glory. No. Oh, glory.
Now, let's go through Corinthians 14, because I know what you were talking about. I'm going to show you that whatever you say, we're not afraid to pull it out of the Bible. We know where it is through the Spirit of the Lord. Let's just run through this. I'm going to explain it a little bit as we go, but let's run through it. 1 Corinthians chapter 14. Now, I'm going to give you a little background. You had certain of our people, this is the Israelites that were in Corinth. You had certain of our people that were educated in that time. They would go into the temple, they would start speaking in a language that the people that was in the temple couldn't understand. It wasn't some unknown language, but they were doing that to boast, to show themselves to be wise. And Paul rebuked them in Corinthians, the 14th chapter. Read what you got. Listen good.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 27.
If you see somebody jump up in church and they start speaking in tongues, and then after they're done, they start telling you what they said, that's out of order, because the Bible tells you this. Read it again.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 27.
Read.
If any man speak in an unknown tongue, let it be by two, or at least the most by three, and that by course, and let one interpret.
Do you understand what that means, sis? If somebody gets up in church and starts speaking in tongues, somebody else is supposed to understand what they said and translate it so you know that was what was really being said. It says by course of two or by three. You can't jump up and speak in tongues and then tell everybody what you said. How do they know that's really what the Lord said?
Right.
How do you know?
Because it comes to pass. Right? My prophecy.
What does the scripture say? I understand your feelings. What does the scripture say?
It ain't feelings.
What's the order of God? What's the order of God? You believe in God? The Bible says by course of two or three. That's what it says, right? So if somebody does something else, it's out of order with the scriptures.
Out of order, but
So if it's out of order, it's okay?
I'm not saying it's okay, no.
Let me read verse 28. Verse 28 is going to clarify.
Read on.
Everything is in 1 Corinthians chapter 14.
Verse 27.
Read on.
No, but all you can read all this time.
Yeah,
The whole 14th
the whole
chapter.
chapter 14,
Yeah, come on.
the entire chapter, verse 28. But if there be no interpreter, let him keep silence in the church.
Read it again.
Verse 28. But if there be no interpreter,
If there's nobody to interpret what you said you spoke in tongues, read on.
let him keep silence in the church.
You're not supposed to do it. When people get up and they start rolling around the floor talking about they speaking in tongues, and there's nobody else outside of you to interpret what you said,
Right.
let them keep silence in the church. That's what the Bible says. I understand that's not what's going on, but the Bible says let God be true and every man a liar. I know it's controversial.
Two or three.
Hold on.
This is church.
This is church. Christ said, when
This
two or
is
three are
church.
gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst. I know it's controversial, but we don't care about being controversial. And the Bible is as it is written. And that's the reason, going back to what we were saying earlier, that's the reason why we find ourselves in the ghettos and the slums and on the bottom. Because we all claim to love God and be God-fearing people until we open the Bible and show people what the Bible said, and then people want to do something else.
Can I ask
They don't want to do what God said.
But where you teach your Bible? You don't have a place your vocabulary to teach Bible? You don't have a particular place you teach Bible?
You know why? Because Christ, when he taught, he was in the streets. All the apostles, they were in the streets amongst the people. The Apostle Paul, you got to connect with the people. If I'm locked away in my church, you'll never saw me here today. So I come out here to be amongst my people and teach the gospel. Christ went to the people.